Hey guys, how are you? I am Andre Hatchet with iDayDaily.com. Here we have a special guest, entrepreneur, mom, wife, all around great human being, Ms. Moses. How are you?
Mrs. Moses, I'm
Mrs.
doing
Moses.
great.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
doing great, Andre. How are you?
Hence, she's a traditionalist, very old school fashion traditionalist, which I love and respect about her, by the way. Yes, Mrs. How are you, ma'am?
I'm doing great, Andre. How are you?
I'm doing great. Please tell the people about you and how to pronounce your name correctly and all your life entails.
Sure. My name is Nomalanga Mhlauli-Moses. And like you said, I'm a full-time entrepreneur, mom, wife, and I also homeschool my kids. Um, I'm a life balance expert. I help women to create lives where they can balance marriage, motherhood, and money making. And that has been my focus because I genuinely believe all three things are things that we need to be successful in life.
Yes, and you do a very good job at it.
Thank you.
So I asked Mrs. Moses to join us because I look at her as a traditionalist, old-fashioned traditionalist, very ladylike lady, in my opinion. Well, I'm not sure what it means to the world, but that's how I view you, right? Old school lady, ultra femininity. Bam. That's how I view you. And you have a stance. Correct me if I'm wrong here or misquote you. The man should provide for his family. Am I right with that?
I think if you're gonna call yourself a man, and I've gotten into trouble for that. I think if you're gonna call yourself a man, man, then yes, you have a responsibility, not just to yourself, but to any woman that you invite into your space as a wife. And this extends to your sisters and all the other people in your family, to protect and to provide, because I believe that is what it means to be a man.
I, I'm actually with you on that one. Where does this come from with you? Because a lot of women nowadays, and a lot of us are taught, like, who cares who makes the money? Who cares how much he makes or what she does? As long as they love each other, that's enough. Where does your firm stance on this traditional lifestyle come
Before I get into that, I just want to address that whole if they love each other, that's enough.
from?
Well, first of all, I think that many people, when they talk about love, they're talking about a feeling,
Hmm.
where I look at it as a doing.
Okay.
And no, that feeling is not enough because most people will realize that it comes and goes. It's very fickle, so that doesn't mean anything. I think your value and your belief system is more important than that feeling. And I think that your value and your belief system cause you to demonstrate love and do loving things. And again, one of those things, if you want to call yourself a man, is to protect and to provide for your family. What does it mean? I may not be as traditional as you think, Andre.
Hmm.
I think that women should have some kind of financial independence. I think that if a man is going to protect and provide for you, it should be a choice that you make. It shouldn't be because you're like a child who depends on him.
Hmm.
I think especially in America, there are going to be times where your man may not necessarily, temporarily, okay, let's emphasize temporarily, cannot provide at least monetarily or financially because we know that there's circumstances and things that happen in life. In that time, he needs your loyalty, he needs your support, and maybe temporarily needs you to take over that. I don't want to call it a role, but take out over or help more in that area than we would traditionally want it to be. So it's not a hard and fast rule, but at the same time, I have no desire. I mean, I've been married for 10 years, so I'm not looking for a husband, but I have no desire to tie my life to somebody who thinks that, sitting on a couch playing video games and watching TV is life, and then people are hungry, bills are unpaid, and he does not feel convicted by that.
Hmm.
And there are men who don't feel convicted by that, who feel like, mommy took care of me, now you come take care of me. I have no respect for a man like that. Um, what do you think?
It makes you want to throw up. And, and I obviously they're a woman, but if I was a woman, it made me really want to throw up. It's disgusting, and I'm kind of like you that rough times happen. I've been through rough times. I'm an entrepreneur. I've seen it all. But when my rough times happened, I applied to work at Burger King. You know, I'm a business owner. I have my own school. I do work at major platforms. But this is in the past 3 years. I applied to work at Burger King because I didn't have enough money coming in,
Right.
and I have mortgages. I went back to school. I was in a relationship. I said, there's just not enough money here coming in. And the woman I was with did very well for herself. So I felt compelled. I had to step up. And I was trying. I was in school full time. You know, I was doing the entrepreneurial thing, but some things in the entrepreneurial realm weren't clicking at the time. So I said, I'm going to apply any friggin' where, because I am not going to step to my queen and be like, nah, we can't go to the movies. She didn't even need to pay her bills, but I just, as a dude, need to do certain things. Like, I always bought the groceries. And even when we went out, even though she made significantly more money than I did at the time, I have a 60-40 thing. Like, no woman is going to pay more than 60% of the times when we go out to eat and things like that. I've never lived with a woman to this day, and it would be the same thing in my household. I always kind of stick by that rule. Like, 60-40 at least, I'm going to pay the majority of the times when we do social events and things like that. So I'm with you in that realm. Where it comes a little bit gray is, what does provide mean? Let me give you an example. If your personal debt is $1,000, the kids' expenses are about $2,000 a month. Your husband's debt is about $2,500 a month. So if he can't cover all of those expenses, is that not being able to provide?
You know, I think we kind of said this. I'm hearing an echo. I think we kind of said that. I think we kind of said in our conversation leading into this one that, you know, it's not a hard and fast rule where I'm sitting here thinking, well, you know, if he's not making 100,000, then he's not a provider, or $1 million, or whatever it is. Although, you know, maybe if I was Kim Kardashian, that would apply.
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. That's the first woman that came into my mind.
Yeah, no,
But,
it would have.
I think that different people come from different walks of life. What you experience as comfort and what you experience as, or what you expect is different. Okay. And then I think it's important to always measure our values and our belief systems. Okay. If I grew up with my mother and my father, okay, and my father provided a home, meaning a house, a physical house for us, there was always food on the table. And this is my experience. It's never happened in our household. I'm fast approaching 40 years old, and I've never had the experience of where you're sitting eating and the lights go out because somebody didn't pay a bill. I have not had that experience. And, you know, cars being towed away because they weren't paid, or having to move because you were evicted. Those are not my experiences growing up in my mother and my father's home. So those are things that I do not feel I should have to experience going forward in life. Now, if you grew up in those circumstances and your father tried, you know, God bless him, he tried, but every now and then the bill got cut off and what happened, maybe when you go and you find a man and he's hardworking, he tries his best, and you can see that he's not a slacker, and you're moving and you're progressing towards something, those things may be acceptable to you. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Not forever, but they may be more acceptable. Do you see what I'm saying, where I'm going with this?
Exactly. And
there's an expectation that's set up by who you are and where you come from and so forth, and what you've come to value, what you've become accustomed to. So, you know, I really don't care about numbers. I've personally, in the last 10, 11 years that I've been with my husband, we've gone up and down where I've made more money, he's made more money, but we've never used it as a measure of how much he's providing or not providing. But the truth is, like I said, I am traditional in the sense that I feel like if you're a married woman, the burden of providing is on the man, but you can help him. Maybe you can help him to the point where you're bringing in the whole check for a month because he's still looking, or he's still trying something, or he's building a new business. So you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it works.
It has an expiration date on it. It has an expiration date.
Right. And it works in the opposite way too, in the sense that, you know, my kids are older. I have a 9-year-old and I have a 6-year-old. My husband doesn't help that much with the kids as much as when they were much, much younger, and was overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And mind you, at that time, we were both working, so we had to help out in what may have been more traditional women roles. So it's not a hard and fast rule. However, what I can't accept is a man who feels like he doesn't have to take full responsibility and full accountability. Because it's a dangerous ground when we start putting numbers on it, because then it's like we're waiting with a little switch to say, oh, here, there it is. You've gone under that number, you failed, It's not like that.
It's not that far. And I think the accountability factor is the most important thing, and the non-slacker factor.
Right.
I'm not sure what it is or where it's come from, but there's a sector of our society who thinks that slacking is just okay. It's acceptable. Again, I was talking to someone the other day. I was out with another a mutual friend, and we were talking about, our town that we grew up in. Oh, you're from my town? Oh, cool, I'm from there too. And I named jobs that I worked at up until I was 20 years old. I was like, wow, I had a lot of jobs. I said Lord & Taylor, Baskin Robbins, 2 of them, Harmon's Discount. It's like CVS. And the list, building over restaurant, washing dishes. The list went off. I was like, damn, I had a lot of jobs in my day. So my thing is, I have high expectations of myself. I think very highly of myself. I think Russell Simmons, Bob Johnson have nothing on me. I see myself being at that plateau. But to get there, I am not above a menial job.
Exactly. You have to do what you have to do
to get where you got to get.
Right.
And what I've seen too much of is, I can't do this. I can't work there. Dre, do you know who I am? I had a friend, he was asking me if I know of a job. I said, yeah. A friend of a friend owns Popeyes. It's right by your house. You don't even have to drive there. No, nothing. He had kids and everything. He was like, Popeyes. Dude, I can't work at Popeyes. I'm like, but you said you need a job. Yeah, but I can't work there. My kids might see me. I'm like, isn't that part of it?
And I understand that. I understand that. Listen, I'm not going to go work at Popeyes, Andre.
I just understand that.
10 years ago, 20 years ago, listen, I was cleaning toilets, okay? Because it was a stepping stone to the next level. Mm-hmm. And there was a plan and a strategy in place. And again, that's a very important thing in terms of what I feel young women should look for in a man. Is he working at Popeyes because he plans to be there for 10, 20 years? And that's okay, too. You can be the Popeyes, fry guy, and then become the guy who's the cashier, then the supervisor, then the manager, then the regional, and maybe one day buy the franchise. There's no limits, you see? Bingo. So there's no problem. But if you're going to be the fry guy forever, you and I can't hang, okay?
And I'm not saying you should.
Yeah, that's just a fact. Okay?
You should, and I'm not saying you should either. Different people have different standards.
Right.
My thing is, my point that I'm trying to drive home is, be the fry guy is better than being the guy on the couch.
Right. Absolutely.
Any day of the week.
Absolutely.
Any day of the friggin' week.
A fry guy feeding his family is better than, a couch guy who's also wondering what he's going to eat along with them. Yeah, absolutely. But I have a theory in terms of how, how we get to this point where we can actually have become a society that has created people or men who think that it's okay to be a child forever, a boy forever. And you get 40, 50, 60-year-old boys. Mm-hmm. This makes people very, very angry when I say it. But you do get 30, 40, 50, 60-year-old boys. Because the title of man, just like the title of woman, is earned. My theory is that, unfortunately, a lot of these young men don't have role models.
Yes.
Okay? In the home primarily, and even when they're not in the home, maybe supplementally. Mm-hmm. Whatever whatever that is, your uncle, the Boys and Girls Club, whatever it is, just a role model, a strong male role model. And then what happens is they have moms who don't teach them what it means to be a protector and a provider, but they teach them how to be a child, a boy, to expect love, to be entitled to being given. And they grow up with that mentality, and it never goes away. Then they invite you into their life, whether as a girlfriend or a wife or whatever, and want you to replace mom. And, of course, no. No. And it is what it is. So it's not that they just wake up one day and decide I'm lazy. We have to admit that our environment creates some part of who we are.
Learned behavior.
That's just how it is.
Yeah, it's an extensive. I'm actually glad you brought up that example. It's a pattern of learned behavior, and that's actually why I started. I'm not sure if you ever saw my site, Nomalanga, blackmendoingit.com. The rebrand.
Yes, I have.
And so I'm aware of that. I'm aware there are a lot of men who haven't. I have a great father, phenomenal father, phenomenal brothers. I have tons of role models. I mean, Boyce is one of them. He's our mutual friend, Boyce Watkins. So I've been around positive, successful, strong black male leaders, and so I'm fortunate for that. A lot of men haven't, so that's why we started the platform. Like, look, take a look at us. We're not perfect. We're by no means perfect, but we're trying. We are dudes. We get up. We do what we have to do. Some blue collar dudes, some white collar dudes, some gray collar dudes. To take a little bit from each one of us and see how real black men live. Not perfect black men, real black men live. So yeah, I'm a big believer. I'm with you with that one.
Absolutely. And see, you, for instance, you said you sound like you had your dad as a very strong presence in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I had both my mom and my dad as a strong presence in my life. So that's part of the reason why it's hard for you to understand, well, what's wrong with this woman? Why does she behave this way? Or what's wrong with this man? Why doesn't he behave this way? And the truth is, sometimes they've had different experiences and grew up in circumstances that shaped them differently.
Yeah.
However, I do believe that when you become an adult, you do have a turning point where you decide, okay, my past was this and that, and I'm going to keep these parts that were good as a part of who I am, and there are these parts that I have to shed and replace with something that works better.
Right.
And that is why I say everybody has a responsibility and accountability. Everybody has a sob story somewhere. Even when you seem to have the perfect life, you have a sob story about something that didn't go the way you thought or whatever. So that's why I feel like I'm less able to accept excuses. But at the same time, we do have to take into consideration that not everybody had maybe what some might call a privilege of having good role models, having good circumstances, and not having to worry about things that other people worry about.
Did your husband have both parents in the household as well, just out of curiosity?
He did some part of his life,
okay.
But also even when his mom and dad went their separate ways, but he did still have strong role models in the sense of coaches, uncles, and other relatives, that a grandfather, very, very strong men in his family, and he identifies with all of them. And when he talks, and that's just the thing, when you're picking a life partner, listen to the person talking. They will be saying, my father said, my uncle said, you see what I'm saying? Or he taught me, or, that kind of thing. So you can tell that there's that presence of strong leadership and role models in the person, where there's different people who say other things, and my mom got 5 boyfriends, and it's okay. Whoa, okay, wow. You see what I'm saying? Again, it tells you what you can expect, because unfortunately we tend to recreate, unless there's a strong intervention, we tend to recreate what we experienced. And that's why I say we always have to look at what we experienced and measure it and say, is that what I want to do going forward, or do I want to cut this generational curse short right here and start something new?
I'm with you with that.
Yeah.
I'm with you with that. And if any ladies are having any troubles, they need a role model, they need to hire someone, can they reach out to you in any way?
Absolutely. One of the things that I did when I used to be a college professor, I say in my former life, but one of the things that I did was I had a course which was also a seminar for young African American, Caribbean, just minority women or black women from all walks of life. And one of the reasons why I took it was because I got them when they were about 18, and their age range was about 18 to 25. Mm-hmm. And what I wanted them to do at the time was to really make life decisions at that point. Wow. Start making decisions and start thinking about their future at that point, because everybody at 18 is not necessarily thinking about far down the line. But that's when you really need to make those decisions about what it is you want for your life. And that can make you or break you. So it was as a guidance. But I've since graduated to something else, in the sense that I encourage women to keep their marriages protect their marriages, which is why I do coaching. I mainly coach married women. I don't coach them on their marriages, although I give them, resources, information, and so forth. And moms, again, resources, information, systems to make it all work. But it's about being a woman who's financially independent, even though you may have a husband who provides for you, but also balancing that with being an excellent mom and being a great wife. And that's what I do.
Nice. And how can they reach you?
Everywhere. I have a Facebook page called Nomalanga MM. I'm on Twitter at Noma Limited, and you can also visit. I have a few blogs. One is for homeschooling moms and dads, theblackhomeschool.com, and then my coaching site is successfulblackwoman.com.
All right. Well, thank you, Ms. Nomalanga. We'll talk soon. And my 2 cents out there, if you're a brother, you're struggling, let's say you haven't had the best role model, let's say you're just on hard times. My opinion, again, now I have a school, a platform doing some pretty cool things. I can say humbly that I'm proud of where I'm at with my life at 33 years old. Less than 3 years ago, I applied to work at Burger King. I didn't get the job, but I did. So there's no shame in the game. Asking someone, do they want fries with that? There's more dignity and pride with that than sitting on the couch. So just throwing that out there, brothers, and check out our site, blackmendoingit.com. We are representing iDate Daily. Nomalanga, we'll talk soon, Queen.
Thank you, Andre.
Bye-bye.